to publicly shame or defame one. His character is akin to what they call murder, character assassination. Character is the outgrowth of one's humanity. When you get out of character, it is you have strayed and when you stray from that which you are aimed or aim for, and the aim is accountability. Character is the material that has been given to build on our humanity. This defaming or publicly shaming someone and even shaming oneself, it assassinates the character of one's humanity, There are many things that shame people in each other. The ignorance could shame a person or people. Drugs, violence against one another. The hostile attitude that we had in differences and petty differences, that is, as well. What is this all about? I realized, man, that interacting with myself and with people whom I've interacted with, that we have been defamed and shamed. And when it comes to our character, it's like pretending to be something that he or she is not, There's a saying of a group of people that says, never again, never again. It's when you mess with a group of people, you attack one of them, you attack them all, and they will defend themselves. And some have lawyers, and they have politicians who work on their behalf. Some control the media, press, television. They could shame and defame you, and you can play along with their game. You become famous for defaming and shaming and assassinating the character of the humanity of people who look like you, and but for the most part, the people who control the media, press, and television, they don't defame or shame and assassinate their character. They don't belittle themselves. And if it's done in a very glamorous way. You know, like people make violence to be very glamorous. You know, nothing too much sacred anymore. It's a challenge. And I realize that sometimes many people who talk very loudly, you know, they bark is what they call it's not as big as they bite. Some of the two, I can't think of the word that people say. You know, sometimes you can bite off more than what one can chew. Well, you got to come at, for lack of words, Pharaoh a certain way. You know, even though that was a title, but there was a story about this beauty that was lost of the country, and a lioness, and they sent another lioness, or they may send a baboon. That's boom, you know, that's what the lioness wanted, you know, that same type of force, you know, same type of anger, frustration. It's fueling. Maybe it fuels her anger or his frustration, whatever it is. But strategically, you sent a little mouse, you know, and the lioness got caught in a trap, and it was made of rope. And of course, the lioness didn't think that I'm telling the story, I'm messing it up. But this is making a point. And the lioness, how can you help me? You know, and the mouse, why ain't that chewing the rope and breaking it into pieces? And the lioness went back to restore the beauty, you know. I realize, man, that interacting with people who think so little of themselves, and not to mention people who think so little of humanity, you know, their role in humanity, or think that their role is the dominant role, and that we tend to bite off more than what we can chew. Our bite is not as strong as our bark, or bark is not as strong as our bite. I can't recall how it goes. And seem to always want to, you know, it's like take from each other, you know. And it's a beautiful thing when you are interacting with people who are on the same, for lack of words, the same page, if I may use that word. Whereas that there is no one, you know, taken from one another. And that they are have the same objective and the same goal. It says, I will raise up one among you. And we always look at it as if it's an individual or messenger. I will raise up a standard, if I may use that word. I will raise up one among you, one aim, one goal, one purpose, one destiny. Destiny is the brightest stars, one artist would say. But the aim, man, is accountability. Purpose is to move from sympathy to empathy. Deal with a spirit of apathy. And we continue to learn how to, if we can, for people who have been so belittled and think so little of themselves, and those who think so little of humanity or the humanity of others. And therefore their humanity is the dominant humanity, doing so that their humanity, thinking of their humanity, dominates the humanity of others. Therefore the humanity of others becomes, who think so little of themselves, is contingent upon the humanity of others who think so little of the humanity of others whom they are dominating. So therefore, something is dominating you. It has power over you, and that becomes, that person's God. And you can see how people think so little of themselves, how that any and anyone comes into their lives and in their circle, and therefore they think so little of themselves and they think so little of others, and they try to think better of themselves, make themselves feel better by thinking so little of others and exploiting others, while at the same time they are seen as thinking so little of themselves, so they will exploit others, and therefore the thinking of themselves in a way that is belittling themselves it's like it's on automatic pilot. So everybody is walking around thinking so little of themselves. Well, I mean, not everybody, but those who exploit others, who have been exploited themselves, wind up exploiting others. So we wind up exploiting each other. Wind up manipulating each other, wind up hurting each other, wind up harming each other. The hurt that hurt produce, the hate that hate produce. There's much to be said on this. There's much to be done. There are children who are losing their lives. Senseless murders. Because those who say that they want to represent think so little of you, and then people think so little of themselves, then people who think so little of themselves, they wind up killing themselves. Killing the character of their humanity. It's a public health crisis. Talk to you.